Hello, today we will recap a horror thriller movie from 2005, titled Constantine. Spoilers ahead, watch out and enjoy. The film begins with two scavengers, picking up items on the ground under a bridge. It breaks in when one of them steps on a wooden floor. Curious, he reaches inside and pulls out a strange spearhead. He gets up and moves away as soon as he feels something enter him. As the other scavenger tries to call him back, he is hit by a car, and the car is completely destroyed, but he is unharmed. He gets up and runs away after a mark appears on his hands. The following scene shows a woman in her home. She moves closer to the door, terrified by the sight of a woman crawling on the roof. A man named John Constantine exits a taxi and walks into a building. He meets Father Hennessy, who informs him that he called him because he was unable to handle the situation. John walks down the crowded corridor towards a room, where a demon-possessed girl is tied up. The girl tries to say something, but John places a pendant on her head, causing her to scream and shake painfully, before coming to an abrupt stop. He checks to see if she's still alive, and she bites him right away. He punches her and requests a mirror. He smashes the window and orders Haas, his taxi driver and apprentice, to move the car. They arrive with a mirror, and John moves the bed on which the woman is tied onto the window. He instructs them to close their eyes and hold the window open. He mumbles a few words, and one of the guys holding the mirror opens his eyes to take a look. He becomes possessed, and the girl fights John. The demon appears in the mirror and attempts to break free. John successfully throws the mirror out the window, killing the demon. The woman appears to be free of the demon's power. John notices the strange spearhead painting on the wall and takes it. He then asks Father Hennessy to assist him by removing his pendant, and reporting anything unusual to him before departing. A girl Angela had a dream about her twin sister Isabel's death, in which Isabel falls from the top of the hospital building. Given Angela's resemblance to Isabel, this is a frightening dream. The next day, John goes to the hospital to be checked because he coughed up blood. He turns out to have a fatal disease. Angela also visits the hospital to confirm that her sister has died. She tells those around her that her sister did not commit suicide, but they try to convince her otherwise. Angela tells John, who is inside the lift, to hold the door as she tries to catch the lift, but he doesn't. The man with the strange knife appears to have superhuman strength, and when he approaches some animals, they die instantly. Djimon, John's friend, arrives at his flat with some antiques. John tells him about the demon he expelled from the girl the night before. John goes to church to meet a woman named Gabriel, who is a half-breed angel. Angela arrives at the church around the same time to meet the father. She tries to convince the father that Isabel did not commit suicide, and thus deserves a proper burial, but the father refuses. During their conversation, Gabriel asks John if he is still trying to buy his way into heaven. John tells her that he has sent many demons back to hell, which should be enough to ensure that he will go to heaven. Gabriel tells him that the only way to get to heaven is through self-sacrifice and faith. John becomes enraged, and Gabriel tells him that he will die young because he smokes 30 cigarettes per day, and that he will go to hell because of his lifestyle. Back at Angela's house, she watches the security camera footage of her sister's death. Isabel mentioned Constantine, but she doesn't hear anything when she replays the video. She scribbles down the name. When John begins coughing on the road, he is attacked by demon flies in the form of a man. He manages to flee as a vehicle collides with the demon. Chaz tries to accompany John to Midnight's place, but the bouncer stops him. When John meets with Midnight, he tells him about the demon that attacked him on the street, and the demon that he pulled out of a girl. He then informs Midnight that he requires the use of the chair. Midnight informs him that the chair has the potential to kill him, and that he is neutral, and cannot take sides as long as the balance is maintained. Back at John's house, Angela knocks on the door and tells John that she has a few questions. She informs John of her sister's death, and adds that she believes Isabel was brainwashed into jumping from the building. John did not appear to be interested in helping her and urged her to leave. When she walks away, John notices some creature's shadows following her. He rushes to meet her, and when they get to the car, the door locks, and all the street lights go out. Angela pulls out her gun, but John tells her it's useless. Just then, John tosses his sulfur into the air and lights his lighter. The fire consumes the demons whom John refers to as scavengers of the damned. Angela is informed by John that the demons are after her. He offers to help her in determining whether Isabel is in hell. He goes to her apartment and he travels to hell and finds Isabel. He brings her hospital band back to show Angela as proof. In the meantime, Father Hennessy visits the mortuary and discovers Isabella's body. He's been acting strangely since John told him to remove his amulet. He becomes thirsty when he notices the mark on her hands. The man tries to drink something, but the liquid does not enter his mouth. Before he dies, we see the same mark of Isabel's hand on his palm. John tells Angela that he used to see things when he was younger, and his parents took him to the hospital. He told her that he was dead for 2 minutes and went to hell, and that when he returned, he realized what he had seen. He tells her that angels and demons coexist among humans, and that anyone who breaks the rules is deported back to hell. He claims to be trying to secure a comfortable retirement, which led Angela to believe he was attempting to buy his way into heaven. Angela gets a phone call, and they go to the store where the man died. Angela is informed by the police officer that the man died after drowning himself in alcohol. So the drinks appeared to be pouring into his mouth, but he couldn't feel it. When John notices the mark on his palm, he calls his friend in to tell him about it. When John and Angela arrive at the location where Isabel died, John tells Angela that he believes Isabel left something behind. They discover her writing on the window that reads 1 Corinthians 17. Angela is astounded to learn that there is a Bible of hell. Djimon reads the chapter to them over the phone and explains that Satan's son will try to cross over, but he'll need a powerful sidekick and God's help. Djimon gets restless and cuts the call as a fly flies out of his eyes. John and Angela rush to his house, but it was too late. Angela tells John that she too used to see things but pretended not to. She claims that it got to the point where she couldn't see anything anymore. She informs John that she wishes to see what Isabel saw. He fills a bathtub with water and instructs her to submerge herself in it. When she emerges from the water, she informs John that someone was present. It was Balthazar, a demon John had met earlier at Midnight's place. He begins arming himself with weapons and drives to Balthazar's house. He puts an amulet in the form of a necklace around Angela's neck and instructs her to consider it a bulletproof vest. John enters the room to attack Balthazar. He inquires Balthazar as to how Maimon, the devil's son, is crossing over. Balthazar initially refuses, but later tells him that whoever kills the Son of God will give birth to the son of the devil. Balthazar adds that he has finished his mission, which was to force John to bring Angela into the building, but John shoots him. So it turns out that the help Satan's son requires from God is the blood of God's son, and this blood is stained on the scavenger's spear. And it is also revealed that both Isabella and Angela are powerful sidekicks, as they're twins. John, who has already concluded this, asks for the amulet, which she says she left in the car. Angela then informs John that she is experiencing strange feelings. Then a force pulls her across the building, and John chases after her, but he loses her. He goes to Midnight's place, holds Midnight hostage with a gun, and tells him he needs to use the chair. Midnight attempts to kill John, but John convinces Midnight to assist him. Midnight electrocutes him as he sits on the chair. Apparently, the chair allows you to see things as if you were actually there. When John enters the trance, he sees the scavenger from the point where he was picking up the spear to where he is now, which is in the hospital with many other demons. Haas assists John in making bullets for his gun, and the two embark on a mission to save the world. Angela awakens in the hospital pool, and the scavenger appears behind her. She shoots him, but it is ineffective. The scavenger drowns her, and she awakens in hell, where she encounters a terrifying demon. With Chaz's help, John enters the room filled with demons and kills them all. When John and Haas enter the pool room, they discover the scavenger has died. Angela emerges from the water behind John and tries to kill him. Angela appeared to be possessed by a demon, which attempted to come out from her belly. With Haas, John is able to return Angela to her normal self, but the demon enters Haas, repeatedly throws him off the roof and on the ground, and kills him. Gabriel enters the room, knocks John out, and throws him across the room. She had the spear and tried to stab Angela in her stomach. But, just as everything gets ready to come, John commits suicide, and time stops. The devil, whom we expected to be a hideous demon, appears and looks exactly like a normal human being. He informs John that he has come to take him to hell. John convinces him to prevent Gabriel from releasing Maimon, and he agrees. Gabriel attempts to confront the devil, but it appears she has lost her touch. She is punished when the devil burns her wings, and she no longer appears to be an angel. John convinces the devil to send Isabel to heaven, which he does. The devil then attempts to drag John back to hell, but as he drags him, John begins to ascend to heaven. But because the devil does not want John to go to heaven, he removes his cancer and brings him back to life. When John and Angela awaken, they see Gabriel. Her wings have been cut off, and she asks John to kill her by annoying him. Instead, John punches her in the face and walks away. Angela thanks John for his assistance in the final scene, and John entrusts her with the spearhead. Haas appears as an angel in the post-credit scene. And the movie ends here. So this was the story of the film Constantine, released in 2005. If you liked the story, then do watch the full film, and if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.